Well, hey, all you happy lost souls. Before we get into this quick little video, I just wanted to say thank you all and just keep commenting on the past video I just posted or the one before that. And there's a few other ones that'll enter you into the free giveaway. The free giveaway will be, the drawing for that will be next week. I'm going away at the end of this week and then I'll be back and I'll do the drawing. So this will be a real quick video. I don't talk a lot about this, but being in southeastern Pennsylvania, it's one of the unique areas where you can find some valuable metals like silver, gold, nickel, platinum. There's in the Huntington Valley area along the Pennypack, there's a mercury mine, there's lead mine. And we look on the periodic table, all these metals, these heavy metals, silver, lead, mercury, gold, they're all next to each other because they're found alongside of each other in nature in most cases. Now, there's not a lot of gold in Pennsylvania, but if you're going out prospecting with a pan, you might find a little bit. But the gold up in northern Pennsylvania, a lot of that gold can be from glacial activity. The glaciers didn't come this far down, at least not enough to deposit large amounts of gold. But what this area is legendary for is its thermal and geothermal vents and springs, some which are still active. But there were tons of them because of this rift valley where the ancient Pangea continent, megacontinent, ripped apart. So a lot of the gold, silver, and metals get trapped in host rock, and it's primarily a lot of quartz and quartzite type rocks that the gold and the metals get trapped in. And the quartz will take on a special property too. It'll be a lot more white. It'll be very milky. It'll be way heavier than it really should. It'll have a lot of yellow staining. This one has a lot of mica deposited. There's some more staining. You can see some metals running through it. You can see some ilmenite, possibly some tourmaline running through it. That is titanium oxide, which there is a ton of in the area. That's why you get a lot of formation of blue corundum and corundum in that color range of blues and purples. Also, because there's palladium and palladium in the area as well, you'll get some purple and color changing stones in different spectrums. But we're going to focus more on this quartz and these different quartz samples I have here. This is beautiful druzy quartz geode, but it has all these metals running through it. The brown here is most likely silver and gold mixed together, and you can see it's crystalline gold. It's crystallized into there. The gold gets trapped where the quartz starts becoming less clear and starts becoming more milky. This milky, thick, white colored quartz, because it's getting closer to the limestone. And the quartz being harder than the limestone, what happens is water flows by. It strips out the limestone, but the water carries gold and other metals within it, and it starts laying down into the quartz. Some of it can even be formed as the quartz was forming and get trapped inside. It can also happen. All kinds of weird things can happen around these geothermal vents, and all kinds of weird materials can be formed. So in this area, we can prospect for some gold and silver. This here is has a high chance of being like black and white opal. It is very hard though, but there is some opalization if you get it in the right light. You'll see some rainbowing. I don't know if it's going to be able to happen. Might not be this piece. I have a couple pieces of this, but it's some kind of beautiful crystalline inside of this matrix. I haven't figured out exactly what it is. It could just be some kind of silicate I'm not aware of. Could be some kind of like fluorite or something, but it's too hard for that. It tests at over an 8, and some of it can test over a 9, so I have no idea. Could be really, really clear sapphire, a pocket of it or something. But this stuff here, it has the mica deposited on it. You can see the black, the titanium oxide in it. You can see some staining, some yellow staining. There could be gold trapped in this. I'm going to be cutting up this piece. It's a pretty crazy piece. I get all kinds of this stuff up in my yard because the uptick, the hill that I live in, the highest point in Montgomery County, I sit on top of that hill in Willow Grove. That's just a giant uptick of silicates, quartz, and there's a lot of limestone in the area on this hill. But we're right where the intrusion occurred, so we're right at that space, right at that barrier where metals could be trapped and deposited into the rocks. I'm going to film later on. I'm waiting for all the leaves to fall off the trees so I can get back into some of my really cool spots where these ancient hot springs are. Some of them are still active. You'll see the steam rising off the water, and there's all kinds of different minerals built up around these old hot springs. And they even had a famous hotel in the late 1800s, early 1900s, a Mineral Spring Hotel. I mentioned it in my last video. I'm going to do a walkthrough at some point of those grounds. The Pennypack flows right through there before it goes underground, a branch of it. Some really nice corundum right there. It's like got some color changing quality to it. But this crazy big piece of quartz, and there's another giant piece of white quartz I have tucked away on the other side underneath. That actually might be a white sapphire because it is all kinds of hexagonal formations. It has a barrel formation. It has an eye formation. It could be some kind of agate, but it's way too hard for that. So I don't know what that one is. This is definitely a quartz here, and it's way, way too heavy just by its size. This thing's probably 25 pounds right here. This piece has got to have all kinds of metals in it. There's also nickel in the area, copper in the area. You don't see really any kind of green in here so much. I don't think there's a lot of copper or anything in there. But the thing with silver, because the area has a historical legend of silver being in the area. We even have Silver Avenue right down the street from where I live. They found silver there in the past. So the geology is right for silver because you have the mercury, you have the lead. But silver is so unstable naturally. It usually just appears as like black sand. Some of the largest silver deposits were passed over for 100 years by prospectors, because they just thought it was sand. But I wanted to talk about where you could find gold and silver, and it's usually going to be trapped inside of rocks. Now, the cool thing is there's some value there. If you find a really cool specimen of gold, and it's always going to usually be running through quartz, that's its primary host rock where you'll find veins running through. Could be other things around gold-bearing areas too, like jade. But in Pennsylvania, you'll find it in these areas where there were thermal activity, and then the gold was deposited into the water in small amounts, and then gets washed through as it strips the limestone, the water, then the gold gets stuck down into the crevices in the quartz. And sometimes during the formation of the quartz, if gold was present, it could be trapped inside. And then you get crystalline gold, which is beautiful, and you don't even melt that stuff down. You make jewelry. It has more value left inside of the rock. I have a lot of gold-bearing quartz down in one of my drawers. I didn't feel like taking it out because I tested a lot of it for silver using a solution of, I think, nitric acid or something like that, and it'll turn red when it hits silver. So I have a ton of silver trapped in rock. We even have some artifacts, arrowheads made out of a silver and quartz piece of ore. We'll call it silver ore. I do have a silver nugget too. But finding silver in its pure form, stable in nature, is so rare. That's why a real pure silver nugget that's natural will be worth more than a gold one, because it's very, very rare to find silver naturally in its actual form, it's usually very unstable, so it's usually running through another host material, usually quartz as well. This one I have a whole video on because it's got these carvings and symbols in it, and the back looks like a heart, and it's tied to some kind of map. I don't want to go down the conspiratorial tunnel. I have other videos talking about that. If you're into that, I think it's called the Golden Heart. I think some of this gets tied back to an organization linked to the Freemasons. But we're not going to get into that on this video. I wanted to talk about this big old hunk of heavy quartz that has all kinds of metal. And remember, it's this milky quartz that you'll find, or quartz that's almost white, solid white, almost where it's non-transparent. It has this milk color. That's where you'll find a lot of metals. This video is not going to be much longer than that, guys, so I just wanted to talk to you about metal in PA and precious metals. You can find some. It's not going to be large amounts usually, and it's going to be trapped inside of quartz in most cases. You can find small amounts of it in gravel beds and the geological condition where that stream is flowing and had gold, then sure. Mostly all gold just comes from space. It was made in space and came down on comets and whatnot. So gold is very, very precious because it usually just can't be destroyed. It's almost impossible. But it's trapped in the extraction process. To get pure gold, you need a lot of you need crushers. You got to pulverize it down into dust, and then you can manually sluice the gold out with separators after you turn this into dust if you want to get all the gold out. There could be substantial amounts of gold trapped in there, but you got to look at is the cost of buying the machine, running the machine, and what you're actually, the amount of gold, is it paying you back for doing the work? Are you making a profit? So a lot of times we're going to slab this. I'm going to probably have to cut a piece off and then slab that because I only have like a 7-inch saw at the moment. The saw's down here. I'm going to try to figure out how to set something up where I can video. Might just get a camera to video me sawing. It's very hard to do on my phone, and with one set of hands, I'm a one-man operation in most cases. So, and we'll talk about some garnets and almandine garnets in a video upcoming shortly. But yeah, guys, like I said, the last video, this is not a contest video, just a regular video. So the last video I posted was the last time that you can enter before I do the drawing next week. And like I said, I'll be giving away some awesome cuttings of rocks, some sapphire-rich corundum ore. This is beautiful rainbow banding through this schist that was put through secondary metamorphic processes. We're going to give some of that away. I'm going to give away some Happy Lost Souls merchandise. I'm going to put a little kit together with a gem light in there and a hardness tester and a little, thank you kit. And I've done a few of these already, and each winner will get a code, and that code enters you into like the mega drawing at 10,000 subscribers. We're creeping there slowly. I'm a niche channel. I don't use any AI, and it's steadily grown over the years, and I'll just keep posting content. And ashamed to say, this one's kind of a content filler to help the algorithm keep going. Most people know about the formation and where gold and metals get trapped because people are interested in the valuable stuff a lot of times. So I'm getting some opalization now over here from that angle in this material down here. This looks like black opal down here. It really does. I just wish it had more color flashing in it. I don't really know what it is. I got to do a little more testing on that. And this is a lot of Jersey quartz in it, which is cool. And a lot of gold. You can see the golds and the metals in there. Gold's like really soft. You can almost dig your nail into it. It's weird. But yeah, gold can get trapped in materials. There's some sunstone back here. It's really pretty. More that might be petrified wood, but petrified within. Yeah, it looks like it's probably some more sunstone. Get a lot of that. Yeah, carnelian, sunstone, whatever. Yellow agate. Got some yellow sapphire here that's a little different. But yeah, this is the one I cut some off of, this big piece of petrified wood here. This beautiful piece of rough carnelian. You can cut that down even more so. But I digress anyway. Yeah, the contest, make sure you check those other two videos out. And yeah, the biggest suggestion I could give you if you're going out prospecting is like look at the geological survey in your area, look at the history, look at what other people have found. In my area, garnets and colorful gemstones, there's always a history of that. There's a history of minerals and metals around these springs. Willow Grove used to be famous for a tourist area, and the hot springs were advertised. You know, people would go and sit in them, you know, for therapeutic reasons. And a lot of it was back then you had a lot of like you had clinics for chest ailments, tuberculosis to be specific, and this was thought to help remedy that. And like always, I start at historical places with the oldest, tallest white ghost tree. I call them ghost trees. It's a good place to start. They usually planted that tree at the entrance or exit, or it was a marker to mark the place. In these trees, these giant sycamore trees, like they're the easiest ones to grow in poor soil, like to grow along creeks. But they always mark out places where there's rich deposits of artifacts and history. So I use these tall white ghost trees, as I call them, these sycamore trees, as reference points because they were used as markers throughout history. Old mills could have been where they are along a creek, and now they're not there. So you find all the archaeological, because these were meeting places in the past, so you find a lot of activity around them. But if you're looking, again, like the point of this was the quartz and the metal thing. If you're looking for metals, you can find them in streams in PA. Not in the quantity that you'll find other things, but there's a lot of iron in the area because there's a ton of you know, limestone and soapstone that gets trapped in there. So iron ore, the area is also known for nickel around where I am. There's some copper, but the legends always have talked about silver, and there's got to be some silver. Silver in its natural form is very brown and dull or black. It's not shiny or reflective like after it's been smelted and purified. But anyways, guys, please subscribe. I love you all. Stay safe out there. And if you're lost, you'll find yourself in those moments. So there's a really, really cool piece I got distracted by. There's a lot of red in that. No wonder this is one of the pieces I tested and it reacted. We'll leave that up here. It's really pretty. But yeah. You can see this is all like ilmenite. It's all, but you see all the metals in this right here, and this is possibly some gold in there. And some of this stuff isn't even quartz. This might be a material called camphordite. I have a couple bigger pieces of that. But yep, you look for the milky white quartz and limestone. And if there was any kind of thermal or geothermal activity in the area. And you're bound to find some metals. It's really, the opal's really, it's rainbowy from over here. You get it at certain angles and it flashes colors. No, this is some kind of opal, I'm pretty sure. And in certain really rare areas where there was sitting water that evaporated under the right temperature and you have this silicated paste that forms, you can get opal, and opal's extremely valuable. And I've taken some pieces out while prospecting that I'm going to cut that might have some in it. This is found inside of a schist pocket, and schist is formed as sediment is laid down, that is rich in aluminum and other metals, and it gets heated right and pressurized through a metamorphic process. So it was sedimentary, had certain metals in it, was heated up, became another rock called schist, and schist can have all kinds of things in it, including all kinds of crazy garnets. But yeah. Anyway, guys, please subscribe. I know I ramble a lot. That's just the style. And peace out. Stay safe.